Alright guys, welcome to another free coaching Friday. Oh my god, it's another one, it's the second one. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at Form. Now he sent me a twos replay, so we're going to be going over more like decision making stuff in twos. This is at GC1 level. I asked him what is he bad at, what is he good at, what does he think that I'm going to say, and he said that he thinks he overthinks too much and that he goes into tunneling mode quite a lot. So that's the stuff he's bad at. And he also said that he is good at mechanics and that he is also good at rotations. So let's see if this holds up. Okay, so kickoff happens. You get a touch here, and this is how I can already kind of tell that you are mechanical, and I already know you have it in you to get better. Because off of kickoff here, ball goes flying. Normal people either wait for that or they go up immediately. What Form does here is kind of interesting. So he goes up and he like turns his car so he can get like a soft touchdown, right? So I already know he's conscious of his touches, and I already know that he wants to control the ball more than anything, right? So we're going to keep that in mind for the rest of the replay. Okay, so we get into corner here. Our opponent goes up. It's fine. We go across here. This is a long rotation. This is perfectly fine though. Seeing as in twos, your opponent's going to take a bit more time. And his teammate has enough time to get back. He can assess that, and now he's full boost. The opponents don't have boost. They're probably going to take something on the back. So yeah, nice in position. Right. So first thing with twos is we have one less player on the field. So what do we want to do in twos? So for example, here, Dylan, who is our lovely subject's teammate, he is now, what position would he be if he was, because in threes we have first, second, and third man, right? So what position is he here? Quick quiz question. And no, he's not second man. He is the third man here. In twos, you play as first and third man. That's the best way to visualize it. Except from when you're doing like a team play, but I usually say team plays aren't really that good in twos unless you're like super well coordinated, unless it's like a pre-made or something, or unless you're like super good, like when you see pros doing shit. So he's third man here, so you want to be playing as safe as possible, right? So we also got to keep that in mind. Whenever we rotate back, we're not second, we are third man, so we are in the defensive position. Okay, I like how he takes control here, showing his mechanics a bit. Gets a nice touch there. Goes to grab the boost, which isn't there. That's fine though. We're grabbing some pads here. Now the boost is there, he sees there, he goes for it. This is really good decision making right here. He turns, he doesn't challenge, he turns, and he shadows this. Dylan's coming in from this side, I don't know why. But hey, that's his fault. And then he goes up for it, so he makes up for his fault, so that's fine. From his mistake. Can we go get challenged here? This is important, right? Okay, so if we think about everything I've said so far, we're third man, we're in the defensive position, and Form likes to overthink a lot, right? And he likes to take control a lot, because that's what we established at the beginning. If we see this free-flying ball now, I already kind of knew that he was not going to go for this, and this was going to be a goal. Also, because the timeline says so, yeah, okay, whatever, disregard that for a second. But Form wants to take control here. He's like, okay, I'm gonna take control. I'm kind of tunnel visioning into the ball a bit, because if he would use his peripheral vision, right, for a second, he would see the jellies right here, and that they are like almost equal distances from the ball. So there you go. So that's kind of tunnel visioning on the ball a bit. On the ball. Wait, let me just. So like his field of view is like this. He's like, wow, ball flying, cool. Awesome. And I catch myself doing this a lot, and this is something I had to work on, so I'm really, really glad that this is his problem, because I can kind of help him with it. Okay, so, no, we don't want to switch to him. Right, so, Form's going to see the ball, he's going to be like, okay, cool, I can control this. He has 100 boost, by the way, like, just as a side note. And he gets beat, he gets clean beat, and then Treefork smacks that in. Little passing play. And that gets in. So I can probably understand why Form would be frustrated here, because you're like, bruh. Like I'm just watching. I'm like sat in the cinema with my recliner back, you know, just bing chilling right here, and this guy just comes up and smacks it out. A lot of people get frustrated, especially at this rank, especially like at GC levels. They're like, oh my god, he's just a monkey, he's just going for it. But in this situation, when it's like a free ball like this, whoever beats the other person, right? So if we look at this, 50-50 between Jelly and our boy Form here and the ball up here, Whoever wins this 50-50 basically has a free goal, because it's 2 third men, because we have to think twos. In twos we are first and third man. This is 2 of the last defensive players going for the ball. So wherever this ball goes, to their half or to our half, it's kind of in, right? Because if Jelly hits it over our head, then it's in, as we saw in the replay. But also, if we hit it over his head, right, then we either just score on net, or we hit it, like, I don't know, like we maybe 50 out here, and then our boy Dylan can sweep it up, right? So that's how we got to think of it. And I think a lot of people are like Form, and they try to like keep control of the ball, which is really correct if you're playing twos. But if you're playing twos and you're the last man kind of thing, like third man, I'm gonna call it last man because it's just simpler. If you're last man in twos and there's been a 50 happens already, right? So this is where like the kind of 50 happens. It's not really a 50, but you know what I mean, right? So as soon as you see the first and second player go for it, and the ball's free, and you have a sneaky suspicion someone might go for it, like you gotta beat that. That's like your first priority, is like go beat kind of thing. This is the switch mentality that I was talking about in the last video. Go watch that if you haven't already. Where it's like you gotta go from 0 to 100, right? So we're gonna go back, and I'm gonna harp on this a bit, seeing as this is very important. So like here, you're like 0, 0, 0, 100, go, right? So that's what we've got to do. And because Form hesitates here, or he just tunnel visions in and he doesn't really see it, or for whatever reason, or he's overthinking it, could also be, we go, right? So we learn by watching our opponent here. So he's there, he's up, he's like, okay, turn, right? So he does 3 things here, right? He sees that Treefork's going to get a good touch on it, right, into the middle. So that's the first thing. So he assesses the situation. Step 2, he turns to adjust, right? And he also looks at Form while he's doing this. So he's like, okay, he's not up already. Okay, he's not really going for it. Okay, I'm going. And then he hits it in, right? And that's something you'll see these players do a lot. I'm pretty sure these might be Smurfs. I'm not just saying that. I look at their cars, I'm like, bro, they're just like running stock 10 and stock Dominus. Not sure, bro. Not sure about that. But hey, it could also not be. I don't know. Like, that's just the kind of vibe I'm getting. Okay, so get mid boost. We turn for this. This is fine. Okay, so here, this is where you can take more position, right? So I think this is where like the decision making comes in. You're like, you have no threats. Like Jelly and Treefork are hella like away, right? So this is kind of unnecessary. Like you waste, what is it? You waste like literally your whole boost tank, right? God, there you go. So he takes up the wall here. He wastes his whole boost tank just to get into the middle of the field. And then he has to rotate out again, right? So it's like you haven't really done much with the ball. Where you could have taken it down and maybe like gone for a play. So that's an alternative there. And again, front post positioning, not that good. In threes, I would say it's fine because you always have someone rotating back behind you. But I think here Form notices himself because he goes front post here and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get this if it rolls up, and then it's like it gets pinched into the middle. Oh Jesus Christ! Oh my bad. Like it gets like hit into the middle, or like pinched into the middle here, and then you can see him going, oh fuck, right? Look at him turn. He's like, oh shit, oh boost, oh flip, okay, I'm good, oh shit, now I have 0 boost, now I've got to clear it somehow, and then he pinches it. So, as I said, it's fine, but it's not optimal, right? So, try to be back post, try to take the position. Back post is also great for the reason, I'm just going to be a bit nerdy right here. This is also a really good tip for any of those people who are like, oh, why the hell should I always go back post? Like, I don't get it, I don't understand it. Let's look at this perspective real quick. This is just a short little excursion, weapon excursion. So if you're front post here, right, and the ball comes in from like the side, the best area you can hit it to is straight to like back into where the player is, right? So that's like the best way you can hit it. If you're back post and the ball comes in here, you're hitting it like, you can hit it like here, which is a much bigger area. If you see what I mean. So like, if the ball comes in here, and the player's positioned back here, he can hit it like this, because whenever you're positioned in net, you always wanna think the widest, like, unless you're standing like this, like forwards, the widest angle you can always hit it, because you'll always be trying to turn towards where the play is coming from so that you have better options. You always have to think of it like this. It's wherever you are in the goal, so you're like here, there's always a straight line down the field, and that's like your maximum range kind of thing. That's like your thing, because if you're facing this way, oh my god, I've drawn a male symbol, god damn it. If you're facing this way, it's going to be really hard to hit the ball in this direction. So that's kind of how you want to think of it. And because also it's going to be hard for you to react, right? So let's say your front post here, you're facing this way, ball comes in, it's going to be really hard for you to react behind you, right? So this is why back post is so good. Not only because of defensive capabilities, so like say for example ball comes in here and he's like, it's like here you can turn and you can go for that, right? But it's also really important for offensive and for transition stuff, and this is why I think a lot of people are having troubles like transitioning downfield. It's because they're not positioned correctly. So if a ball comes in and your back post, like say for example a ball comes down the middle, then you can just turn and you can just hit it right back at them, right? But if you're front post here, right, and let's say the ball comes in, or let's say he hits it right here, then you're gonna have to like do a weird backflip and then like hit it, and then you can maybe hit it only to the corner where someone else is waiting. So that's kind of just the point I want to elaborate it on. So that everybody knows we're on the same page, which is good. All right, let's get back to the replay. So what are we doing now? Let's have a look. So we've pinched it out. We've got a good clip. Okay, now I'm gonna grab the boost. Love that. John's gonna go for a demo. So this is kind of interesting, and this is where Form has to really think. The demo here is good for pressure relief. It's not good for scoring though, because the ball's going nowhere near our net, near the opponent's net, right? Like it's rolling up the wall. Like what is Form supposed to do here, right? It's like he's sat here going, okay, what do you want from me, kind of thing. And I think that's really good. I think it's good that you stick around just in case something does happen. And I think it's good that you're not like instantly jumping for it, because there's a lot of people that I know, also in GC1, also in GC2, that would jump for this immediately, right? So, and yes, there's a chance to like pinch it in or some crap like that, but it's not gonna happen. 9 times out of 10, right? Okay, so this is another option. This is another thing. And I think this has more to do with preparation stuff than actually reacting. So Dylan goes for it, he misses, and Jelly misses, right? So this in our minds is like they had a 50-50, right? So that's how we kind of got to see it, because Jelly's, if we go for this immediately, right? If we turned a bit sharper and we go for this immediately, we can beat Jelly to this, right? And if we hit it, and this is kind of what I always try to do when you're on defense, because you never want to be hitting the ball back to the people that you shot at. Duh. If we turn here, right, and this is like where like vision comes in and a bit of preparation. So we want to be turning a bit sharper here, and this will be coming up in the replay as well later on, where it's a bit of like car rotational positioning. So where the position's correct, but I think Form needs to rotate his car a bit more, or he needs to be facing a different way. Yeah, so if we go here, we can force a 50 out of tree fork, which is pretty good. And in any case, if tree fork is like, because these players, what I've already spotted from these players is they're going for like aerial mechanical stuff, right? And the way you beat aerial mechanical like opponents, and the way you beat players like that in general, is by being aggressive and not letting them play, right? So if they want to do like a double tap flip reset, like don't let them. That is literally the key. For fuck's sake. Gotta turn my origin off. Fuck off. Dumb origin shit. Happens once a video, I swear to god. Okay. So, the way to beat mechanical opponents and like aerial focused opponents is you want to let them not play the game, right? So we want to challenge this as soon as possible. This might be a bit risky, and this is kind of just my style of defense, where I don't want to let my opponents do anything. Because worst case scenario, what can happen here is ball goes down, right? we don't challenge it, like we stay where we are, and then Tree Fork takes it up for like an aerial or like an air dribble bump or something. Because as I see it here, Form is in the perfect spot, like the perfect spot to get air dribble bumped on, because you always want to have like air dribble bumping, like best positioning is when your opponent isn't like super in net, he's like outwards, right? Because then you can hit the ball over him, so the ball goes over him, and then you can attack him like directly, right? So and that's kind of the thing. So wait, if we watch Tree Fork's perspective here, right? So that misses, and now he's got a free ball, right? What's the thing I don't want to happen here with it if I'm Tree Fork, right? I don't want Form to like just brainlessly challenge me. That's the worst thing that could happen right now, because my teammate is right next to me, right? So Jelly's right here. So if I force a 50 here, or if Form forces a 50 here, and the ball just goes like absolutely ballistic and just yeets out to the side, that's like instant pressure on my end, and it's instant pressure relief on his end. So I don't want that to happen at all. What's the best thing that I want to happen here? Oh, I'm a mechanical player that likes to go for aerials and double taps and stuff like that, right? The best thing I want Form to do here in this position as an opponent, like the most favorable thing, is for him to just stay in net and just let me do what I do, right? Because then I can go up, I can hit a double tap off this, like I can air dribble bump him, as I said before. I can even like fake it and then like hit him. Like there's so many possibilities that you can do here, and challenging immediately just relieves that pressure. I'm not saying you should challenge every single ball that comes directly your way, not what I mean. It's situational, but in this case where your opponents are mechanical and your opponents want to have the space, you need to deny them that space. That's kind of what you need to do here. So yeah, let us have a look at what is going to happen. So he shoots it. Fair enough. Good save from Form here. Let's go back to his POV. Oh, he's dead. Never mind. He's coming back. There he is. It's a good save though, and it's a good save into a good direction, which is super. And we saved that as well. Awesome. Good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, and like this is kind of what I want you to do, but I want you to do it quicker, right? So ball goes up here, and Dylan's kind of slow to react to this. Actually, I'm not sure. Like I would have gone here already, because let's go pink because Dylan's got a pink car. I don't know. Because we see two players up here, right? So that means we're in a 1v1 situation. We can assess that immediately. And because no one else is here, I'm gonna just assume that Jelly's just off to the side, right? So ball's coming down, and I know if ball goes down, ball goes up again, and I can kind of aerial for that, right? And just meet it in the air. The main thought here might be, oh, I could take possession of this though, and I can like 1v1. The trouble is, if you take possession here and 1v1 it, then there's going to be two players behind you, so you might not have a defense because Form might not rotate in time. I am Dylan now, I am in Dylan perspective, so I don't know if Form is good at rotations or not, no clue. It could be he just flops down, gets mid boost and tries to grab their boost and then it's done, right? So that's why I think trying to hit the ball upfield and like put as much pressure on as possible. If Dylan then goes up for it and sends it to their half, right, we're putting on pressure. Tree Fork is right over here, so he can't get back in time. And it could then be that if I say, okay, I don't know if Form can rotate properly, so I'll go on the offense. Form lands here, grabs the boost, and then he's with me, right? So that is a perspective thing as well for any of you who are thinking, okay, we can take possession really well here. As I said, it's not a wrong option. I just like to propose different options. So yeah. And you see now, right? Like, if Dylan would have gone for that super early, and Jelly would have jumped as well, I'm just going to assume that, then Jelly and Tree Fork would have been behind us, and we would have been attacking the side already with no one in it. So that's like a small thing that this is like, I'm trying to show why going and why maybe not taking possession all the time is a good thing. It's a good pass. Dylan tries to hit it. That's fine. We try to contest with 0 boost. That's a really good thing, by the way. I like this. This is a really intelligent move because you're buying Dylan time to get back and rotate, which is really awesome. Unfortunate not the boost grab, but hey, whatever. Damn! Okay, we'd have collected a bit more pads there, that's fine. Good shot from Dylan. We're gonna move back. And we're gonna have a look. We're gonna shoot, and it's gonna go in. Awesome sauce. Alrighty, so we got off of kickoff here. Force it to the side. We're gonna go back, rotate back. Now this is a trouble that I see a lot of people do, right? So I've coached a few people in my time that have been like, oh yeah, I'm just like messing around, just like trying out some stuff, just like going for mechanical things, right? Or people will try to like do like with wave dash cuts or some shit, like when they go back on rotation, like they get bored, I don't know, some things, right? So this is what happens, and you might not think in the moment, oh, that's not bad, right? Like, happens to everybody. Maybe he just flips the wrong way, I don't know. But I'm just bringing this up just in case that you are one of these people that does these things. So here he manages to recover, right? But he has missed the boost because we have the boost on here over here. He's missed this. And now we're on 14 boost. So now we're on 14 boost, we're on the wall. We're a bit awkward here. So we're going to try to defend this ball. I don't know how, but we're going to try. Okay, so let's see what he does here. So Form comes up here. He goes down here. Dylan's going to touch this. He's going to get bumped off the ball. He's going to try to 50 this. 50 happens. And now we're in a bad position, right? Because Treefork's just going to hit that onto the open net. Because as we change to his perspective, this is totally like a non-dangerous thing. He goes out. He's going to see the opportunity. And he's going to see, oh, cool. I'm going to switch to blue again for like their vision. He's going to see, cool, I get a free ball. And number 2, I get a free net. So free ball goes into free net. And that's how we score, right? So that is going to be that. So what could Form have done here? Little quiz time, maybe maybe pause the video, maybe try to like explain what you would have done here. Gonna give you time for that now. Okay, good, done that, awesome. Right, so what he needs to do here, we need to rewind a bit, right? So off a kickoff, we need to make sure that we secure this corner boost. This is the number one important thing that we need to think about right now, because if we think of the bigger picture, right, I've just seen 2 blue players go on kickoff and the ball's rolled up this wall and a blue player has followed it up here, right? So that means we're going to have a blue player probably flying through the air at our net in the next few seconds. So what we need to do here is we need to get into position so that we can block this. And B, we need to stop any aggression that they have so we can maybe set up for a goal of our own. So step 1, how we do that is we take the boost so that they can't take it. Because if we miss this boost, like we do, like Form does here, because he gets a weird recovery or he flips the wrong way or whatever happens, but we miss the boost, right? Now they can take this. So like say for example, if another player comes in here and then rotates out, he can grab this, right? And that's a resource we've given to our opponent. So we need to drain them of their resources while they're pushing upfield. That could happen with taking the mid boost. Unfortunately, they took the mid boost, so that's not an option anymore. So we need to take this back boost and we need to get into position. So what we need to do here, we need to rotate in, get the corner boost, and we just need to go through. I like the idea of going onto the wall. I think that's a super good option, and I would recommend that as the first option here. So you either rotate back and you go up the wall. This is like for higher level players. So this is what I think Form should do. If you're a lower level player like Plat, I think even Diamonds, you don't have to go back wall defense when you're a Diamond. Honestly, it doesn't do anything because there's no one that can consistently double tap anyway. Even Champs probably don't have to do this. Then you want to be going like back on the floor, right? So yeah, that's what happens here. Let's look at this really quick out of Treefork's perspective, because this is what is going to hammer my point across the most, right? I have 100 boosts. I'm doing some stuff. Okay, he doesn't go up on the air. That's fine. Up in the air. I can't talk. It's fine. But he takes it back down again, which is actually kind of clever, because he's like, okay, I can't get a good touch on this, so I'm just going to control it, right? But now he goes up. What's the worst thing that can happen if I'm Treefork in this, right? What's the worst thing that can happen? I see Form on the back wall here, which is correct positioning, without the boost though, unfortunately. So I know already in my mind, if I'm Treefork here, right? I'm like, oh wait, I just beat this guy on kickoff. and now he's on the wall, and I see the boost here. So that means he can't contest this. So if I'm Treefork here, I want to just take possession of the ball that's in front of me that I've just played up, and I want to take it to their corner boost, and then maybe set up for some play into the middle, right? That's what I'm thinking if I'm Treefork here. So the worst thing that can happen is if I would turn here and there's no boost, but the worst thing that could happen is that Dylan then maybe turns in and challenges me. Or Dylan goes to the corner and takes possession of this ball that I've just lost. That's like the worst thing that can happen here. So that is what you want to be adapting. You always want to be thinking, what is the worst thing that my opponent could, like, what's the worst thing for my opponent in this situation? And then you want to do it so that they don't, so that you kind of like, you're stopping them playing, but you're also ensuring that you can then score as well from that opportunity. I hope that makes sense. So let's go back to Form's perspective here. So he messes up. Now, if you're in this position and you've kind of fucked up already, the number one thing you need to do is reset. This is what you hear when you watch, if any of you have watched like pro comm videos, they say reset sometimes, like after demos happen or after they've triple committed or after something. And this basically means that everybody just goes back to their default positions. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to go into fly mode real quick so that I can explain this better. So let's say we were playing 3v3s, for example, real quick. And I'll explain it for 2s as well in a sec. So, okay, never mind. Actually, you know what? I'll explain it for 2s first, and then we can go to 3v3s. So for 2s here, if I notice that I'm totally awkward here and I have no pressure on this ball, which is what's happening right now, my reset mentality would be to probably take some pads and just go back post here. That's like a reset, right? Because you're in an awkward position, and you're just gonna ignore everything that's happening here. We're gonna blend that out with a weird squiggly line. We're gonna blend that out and just go, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just play for me, and I'm just gonna reset, right? If you're Dylan in this position, what you want to do is you want to reset by coming out of the play and maybe getting in front of it again. Or maybe you also go back, right? Because if you also go back in this position, and as Form we maybe see him going back already, then we can turn in again because we know that Dylan is going to go back post here, right? So it's all about resetting yourself so that your teammates can see, oh, okay, I know that he's covering me, so I can go in. Or you see your teammate go again, so you then have to be the person that is like, okay, I have to cover him in case he fucks up, right? So as I always say, my coaching mentality is everyone's always at fault. So yeah, if you're playing 3s and you have someone like say outfield, like just as a quick explanation, like say someone's like here or he's in the opponent's half, you would then want to rotate the furthest way back, so probably like a corner boost here, right? Because you're gonna have 2 people that are close to the play, so you don't want to interfere here. And that's like the reset mentality, okay? So anyway, let's just continue on. Let's see what happens here. So here we get scored on. Pretty obvious goal. Pretty obvious that goes in if you're Treefork. Okay, so a back post here. Love that. We turn, we take possession. Bump happens in the mid. We jump up here. Okay, so my next little talking point is edgeable bumps and edgeable plays. So here we see Dylan's moving in front of us. So what we kind of want to do, he misses the demo, which is fine. Quick little tip for you guys, if you want to go for edgeable bumps, make sure to practice hitting people straight on. Because if we're angling up here, because the problem is, it's not the Form is angling up because he's like trying to get him from above, right? The problem is that he doesn't dip back down again. If you're hitting someone on an edgeable bump with like the front of your nose, so like this bit here, if you're hitting them like dead on, like you would hit like a power shot on a ball, they're gonna either A, die, or B, they're gonna get like hit into their net, right? Because you're like hitting them with the front of your car. If you hit them with the bottom, you're just gonna get sprung up and you're just gonna hit the ball yourself. Anything that applies to shooting the ball, so like hitting it with the corner of your car or the front of your car or hitting it with the wheels, actually also applies to hitting other people, which is really interesting. So like you get more power out of hitting them with the front of your car than with the side of your car, right? Like if you jump into someone with the side of your car, you're just gonna bounce off them and nothing's going to happen, right? So it goes the same for edge wall bumps. You can get some like weird bumps with it, but the best thing is always just to point your nose at them. So that's just a quick excursion on edge wall bumping as well. Okay, so our edge wall bump fails. What do we want to do? We want to reset as quick as possible. We want to go back mid pads. That's also fine. It's also good rotation. Activate gets beat. It's not punished, which is fine. We grab both boosts here. I'm not a huge fan of grabbing both boosts. I do see why it's necessary though, so it's just a little thing. I would much rather that Form rotates closer here so that he doesn't go for the back corner boost. Because if this goes in, it's in, right? I know, dumb statement, but that's just how it is. But if it doesn't, like say it bounces out here, then if you go to corner boost, you're going to be wasting time. So turning in here as well as you got momentum, seeing as you're supersonic right now. So you want to use that momentum and then drive through. And then if you do have anything, then you can drive to the corner boost, right? And then it also leaves Dylan with a second corner boost, and then you can push together. Because in this situation, you're basically either saying, okay, it's in guaranteed, or I'm just going to be egoistic and just take the boost. Because if you would be a team player, you would turn in here, because then anything that Jelly hits onto Dylan is just going to bounce out, and then you can be the first person to react, right? So I think Form sometimes takes himself out the play a bit too much. That's what I'm kind of seeing right now. Yeah, like here he takes the boost and he takes the other boost, which is fine. Taking that second boost is fine. It's just taking the first boost that's my problem. Then go for a little aerial play here. This is fine because he doesn't really know if there's anyone up for this or not. I can completely expect with like mechanical opponents, I would say try to be like as fast as you can to aerial balls and like try to get 50s as quick as you can, because that's just what's going to beat them. He goes up. I don't know why Dylan goes up. That's his problem though, not ours. We're going to rotate nicely here. And we're going to jump. Now, it's interesting here because I can tell that Form isn't comfortable in the air, and he's not very comfortable in his... He said he has good mechanics, but I don't think he's confident in his reads. And I can tell this because if this was like a pro player, or if this was like a higher read focus, I don't know how to call it. Like, if you have someone who has like better reads, basically, he'd be going for this already, because this in like pro vision, I'm gonna call it pro vision. You see this ball, you see it's here, and you see it's here, and you're gonna go for here, right? So you're already in your mind's eye, you're like going for a ball that's not even there yet, and you're like, it's not pre-jumping, it's just being really good at reading the ball, right? So you know that's gonna go here, and so you meet it there. That's what pro backboard defense looks like. That's how you do backboard reads. There's also a really good pack by Rizzo for backboard reads. If you just type it on YouTube like backboard read Rizzo or something, you'll probably get it. But yeah, and that's how I can tell Form isn't really comfortable with his reads, because he's not meeting the ball where he should for like the earliest defense. He's literally waiting for Jelly to go up here and get the double touch spike downwards, and then try to just pre-jump it, right? And then try to just jump in the way of the ball, which is a far less chance that you're going to get that than if you're going to try to pre-jump it here on the backboard. Because even if you jump and you guess wrong, right? Even if you jump and you guess wrong, like say you're a bit past it or you're a bit in front of it, then Jelly might just hit it into you, or you might just block him, right? So that is also something where I think Form can work on his reads a bit. I think that's one of the biggest things I've seen. It's a good pre-jump though, it could have saved it, but I'm just saying it's better to block the attack before they even get to the shot than when they get to the shot. Yeah, so this possession is also kind of interesting. So he pushes out pretty far here, even though the opponents have the possession. I would always recommend, if you see that the opponent has possession, you want to assess, okay, should I be the person to push, or is my teammate the person to push, right? And if the answer is that your teammate's pushing, even if he's not directly pushing, like Dylan is doing here, Dylan's going to get the ball and like try to push, and he is the closest to this because Treefork's taking it to the wall. So he's going to be in the area where Dylan can challenge it better than we can here. So our job here is to just stay on the back line and just to defend in case something goes past Dylan, right? We're a third man, remember? We're not the second man, we're the third man. So this is what we gotta keep in mind. And this is really frustrating because the ball does come our way, and Jelly misses it. And now we're in like this awkward spot where we can't really push the ball anywhere because we're parallel sideways with it. But we can't really take possession either because we're too far away from it. So we're doing this like weird shuffle thing, and then Dylan comes in and gets bumped, right? So that's the thing. Everybody's at fault. You might think in this position, oh, Dylan's at fault because he comes in and bumps us. But if we went in that awkward position, then he wouldn't have, right? Because from his perspective, he goes to challenge. Okay, that's fine. It goes past me. I'll get the mid boost. Oh, my teammate's looking really awkward and reversing here. Okay, I'll just, like, in his mind's eye, right? He's saying, okay, ball bounces down, I'll take this, and then I'll go up the wall, right? And then I'll progress the play, which is actually the correct thing to do. So both players are thinking correctly here. It's just the coordination that's a bit off, and the positioning's a bit off, right? So that is why we get to this. And then Dylan just continues because he's like, bro, I don't care. I'm just going to go for it. Absolute Chad, by the way. Okay, let's go back to Formxny because that is the player we are focusing on. So we're going to go up the wall here. That's fine. Doesn't get the read. Interesting. Okay. I find it interesting that he boosts. He only flips when he gets boost. What you can do here, you can like diagonal flip into the boost and then use the boost to continue that momentum of the flip, and then you get much quicker momentum, much faster. Like if you can speed flip into the boost and then whilst you're flipping, you then hold the boost so that at the end of it you come out supersonic, then that works better than just doing this. I don't think you can come supersonic, but you're much faster than you are now. Nice, get the boost. And Dylan scores. Awesome. So this is the kind of thing I was talking about, where if they have possession, or if we have possession, we're third man here. Remember, third man, not second man. It's called twos, but you're never the second man. So we're third man. We're like playing here. If I was being nitpicky, I would say you should be a bit more center because defending the center is always the most important thing. But yeah, that's fine. You're in a good position, you can react to everything, maybe grab a few more boost pads. But as I said, I'm being nitpicky, so that's fine. So now kickoff goal happens. So going here. We're hitting. Fair enough. Nice. Like, again, right? I'm being nitpicky, and I'm being nitpicky off of your successes, which is probably even more frustrating for someone watching this video. But you're in a second man position here off of kickoff, which is not where we want to be. We want to be a third man position. We hit this and we are going up because we're like, we don't have trust in our teammate. We got to trust them a bit, like 50-50, right? Like, this is the thing where I'm just going to go on a small rant here. I apologize, but I promise you it's going to be worth it listening to this. This is the thing where I find it funny when players are like, oh, I don't trust my teammates, and then do this kind of thing, right? Form didn't say this, but this is exactly the kind of playstyle of someone who would say that kind of thing. Because it's like, oh, I don't trust my teammates, right? Like, he's in the area, like, he's in Dylan's area right now. This is such, if I quickly go to the thingy cam, the fly cam, right? Like, look at how close together they are for like a twos game, right? And then people will be like, oh, I don't trust my teammate, and then be in this position where it's like, okay, but you're like 100% trusting them to hit the ball, because if Dylan doesn't hit the ball, then Jelly just takes it past him and it's just an open goal, right? So if you find yourself going really close to your teammates, or if you find yourself not being super far back when your teammates are doing stuff, or you're finding yourself looking for passes a lot more than you are, then you are over trusting your teammates. So that's just how it is. If, say for example, Form would be like here, like he cheats on kickoff and then just like kind of stays around the area, or he's more to this side, because if you would have a challenge come in here, then the ball's probably going to hit out this way. So either of these two positions are fine because you can turn for it and you can turn for it. So if you're more of a backwards position, that is when you can say you don't trust your teammates. So if you're always forwards and you're always like trying to push goals and trying to like work with your teammates, then you're trusting your teammates. So keep that in mind. And I think that's the mentality that a lot of people don't have. So as I said, Form didn't say this in his thing. It's just a little side thing that I wanted to say, because I know a lot of people watching this video might not have the same mentality. So we get a good kickoff goal. Let's go. Love that. We're now leading against mechanical players. Let's go. Love that. Like here again, he's trusting his teammate. He's trusting him to make the pass. Didn't go solo. Now this is also interesting. We got to watch how our teammates play. We've seen Dylan go solo probably about like 4 different times this video. Like I know he went for an air dribble. I know that thing on the back defense where he was trying to take the ball and go up the wall, the thing I was saying when Form was reversing. So we should kind of know by now that Dylan doesn't want to play with us, right? He wants to do his thing. He wants to be the star of the show. So what we have to do here, we have to kind of adapt to him, right? It's not only the opponents that we're adapting to, it's also our teammates. So in this situation, I would just go back and fill in as third man, because that is just what you want to do. We know Dylan is going to air dribble up here, and if we don't know that from the beginning because we haven't really been paying attention to our teammates, which is fine, as soon as he goes here, we just chill in the middle. We go back. Hey, exactly. That's what Form's kind of doing, right? He kind of circles back a bit, but hey, that's okay. If your teammate goes for stuff like this, don't get angry at him. Let him play the game, right? Like, if your teammate scores 4 goals and carries you, like, why is that bad? Like, if you win, you win, right? So, if your teammate's carrying you, just let them carry. Nice, we take possession here, that's really good. Flick over 1. Bit of an awkward moment there, that's fine though. We try to challenge again, that's really good. We're staying on him, which is really good. And now we want to go out. So like, again, the recovery isn't really there, right? So we do like this weird wave cut thing. So that's one thing I would say Form should work on, is his recoveries and his like kind of getting back kind of thing. And Dylan scores off this again. Love that, love that. Let's have a quick look what Dylan did. What was good here? This is the exact position that I'm kind of saying. He shouldn't be turned backwards though. I think he should be facing forwards. I think that's much better because then he can react to the play better, but he does turn here, which is fine. He's kind of shadow defending, which is good. And now he turns. Okay, never mind. And then he shoots, right? This is kind of the thing that we want to be doing. We just want to be chilling. Okay, cool. Oh, ball, shoot, net, monkey brain, easy peasy. Love that. Good shit. So, how do we lose this? Let's see. 1 minute to go. We are 4-2 down. 4-2 up, sorry. How do we lose this? Okay, so kickoff happens. We're going to stick around here. I'm going to grab the boost. That's fine. Ah, yes. We're going to hit this. And then Joey's just going to pop the fuck off. Oh, Jesus Christ. What could we have done here? So, first thing I can see is doing your kickoff differently. This is a pretty hard force, which is pretty good as a kickoff. I wouldn't recommend it in 2s though, because as soon as you do a hard force kickoff like this, and you're then going into their half, which is what's happening now, if Treefork was a bit more better prepared or a bit quicker, he could have just hit that back and then it's just an instant 2v1 off of kickoff. So that's kind of one thing that I would recommend to do, is to try not to win the kickoff too hard to the point that you can not control it, right? Second thing that we could do is maybe get a bump here on Treefork. Seeing the boost is a good idea, and I think that's fine. I think, honestly, Form couldn't have really done too much here. Seeing as Jelly did just pop the fuck off. Let's see what Dylan does. Yeah, there's just no stopping that. Again, Dylan could have gone backboard. I think that's probably more the thing here. And this is also something, if you're playing against mechanical enemies, right, like mechanical opponents, just assume they're going to do the craziest shit and then just try to counter that, because if you're already on the backboard and then they just have a normal shot, then it'll be easier to save than if you're in net for the normal shot and then they do a double tap. So yeah. Oh, no. What happened here? Okay. So 2 kickoff goals after each other. That's going to be tough on the mental. Interesting. Okay. So on 2s, we want to be cheating, which is good. But I think Form cheats here a bit too hard. Now I see a lot of people do this where they cheat up super tight behind their teammate. And I would honestly say, wait, are they teamed together? They are teamed together. I don't know if Dylan and Form are teamed together. Dylan and Form are teamed together too. Okay, never mind then. But if you're like solo queuing, right? Don't cheat super hard behind your teammate because you don't know what the hell they're gonna do. So best thing is just to do like a normal front flip here, or not even. You can just drive. And then I would say like don't drive too far in because then you're just gonna get beat. Unless you know like how to do kickoffs really well and how to like stop it and how to do stuff like Jelly and Tree Fork did. Like I can see he already knows that they're gonna stop this, right? And then he just goes for it. So unless you can do that really well and really consistently, I would always recommend just trying to stay back and staying safe, because if it does come hurtling towards you, you can stop it. You can take possession, right? You can put it into your corner, you can do everything. If it does go into the corner, you're going to beat them every time, right? And if it goes upfield to them, then you can just drive forwards, grab some pads, and then that's also it, right? So you're not risking anything. You might be missing a goal opportunity, but it's better than getting a goal scored against you, right? So that's a bit tough. So we are 4-4 at 44 seconds. Interesting. Love that, how that always lines up. And I got a kickoff. So this is where nothing much actually happens goal-wise for the next 2 minutes. So let's see how this overtime goes. We're going to get a good chance early on. Very speedy. Just going to smack that over to Tree Fork. So you can see already they're always trying to do aerial plays. They're always trying to pass. So we want to be looking for that counter to that, right? Which is fast challenging. We want to be challenging super fast. He's going up in the air again. This is really good from Form. I love to see this. He's learned now, right? He's got it. He's like, oh, this guy's going up. Oh, wait, they're like mechanical and they're going to like pass and they do like aerial stuff. Okay, I'm just going to challenge him. Boom! Slap that shot away. Love that. What I would say though is try to preserve some boost, because you kind of shoot, like in this, Form hits the ball and then he kind of shoots and then continues boosting and spiraling on, right? Like he does like this, which doesn't really do much. I would say try to like boost up the wall, jump, and then flip. And then once you've done that flip, just stop boosting, because you'll notice, and pro players do this a lot if you watch RLCS, which is a super important thing that I always condone doing, because watching pros is just insane. But you got to observe and watch, not just watch them brainlessly. They always save like 20 boosts, especially Middle Eastern players. They save like boost to get back to the floor as quick as possible. Or what you can do here as well, you can also, as like a advanced maneuver as well, which I think a lot of people overlook, is you can recover towards the wall. Like if you're boosting this way, and then you recover on the wall and go down and grab the 100 boost pad, then you're like super quick on the recovery, and you're super quick on the counter attack as well. So yeah, make sure to use that too. Like here, you kind of miss everything, like the boosts and everything and the wall. And I kind of like here, sat with 0 boost, he gets a really good wave dash, which is really nice because now he's got momentum. But then you're kind of like, oh, I can't really do much, and then you rotate out, and then you're kind of feeling useless, right? So nice. I like the good rotation position though. Love that. Always into the middle. That is perfect. And now we go into overtime. So let's see how they handle this kickoff. Okay, we're cheating a bit in. He's gonna smack that. We're ready for it. We're gonna go up here because we hear the Dominus behind us. That's really good. Gonna try to get a block here. We turn into middle and we're ready for that. Nice. This is a really good play so far. Exactly. Nice. Love to see that. This is kind of what I was talking about, right? We know now our opponents are mechanical. They're in the air. They're passing. They're trying to show off, right? Or they're trying to just like have fun. Or they're just like, I don't know, they spent like 3,000 hours as plats doing air dribbles and now they want to show that they can actually do them, right? As soon as he's in the air, Form's like, bro, I know you're going for some kind of double touch everything. I'm gonna go on the backboard. And that's what happens. Only thing here is, try to meet him in the air, right? I think that's what a lot of people don't really do with backboard defense. They kind of just sit there on backboard and they're like, okay, I'm gonna wait for him to do something. Be a bit proactive, and you can jump off of this actually. You can go up here and then jump off and meet him in the air. And then that's just going to block everything he's doing. Even better, it might get like a really good 50 outwards and then you can counterattack. So that is like what we're trying to do here. It's not wrong what he's doing, it's just an alternative solution. Seeing as Jelly does get a few touches. But that's what I mean, like, it's like, why would you wait for him to have the touches and get on the backboard so that you can block it, when you can proactively go towards him and not even let him get those touches, right? So we're trying to shut down people at the source, if that makes sense. So now we're going to try to block Tree Fork here, which is fine. He's going to fake it, which is interesting. Dylan's going to come back down and he's going to take it. So we're waiting, right? We're waiting. This is very close. I think that Form here is trying to be there in case of stuff rebounding. So like, say if Dylan goes for a flick here, then Form's going to be here to get the rebound. But in twos, what are we? We're the third man, not the second man, not the second man. We're the third man. So as you can see here in this replay, if we go into flycam real quick, and this is what sometimes helps you stop tunnel visioning, right? If you watch your replays back and just watch it from flycam and just notice where you are in relation to the whole field, sometimes your eyes just open and you're like, oh my god, what the hell am I doing? Like, look at how close we are. We control probably this area of the field, right? And our opponents are like controlling this area, and I think like kind of this area, right? So we're a bit huddled together. Now, the problem being with this is now our backline. Because we are pushed up here as third man, not second man, third man. If anything gets past this line, so say, I don't know, Jelly challenges and the ball gets hit past here or past here, or say, for example, a bit of an abstract example, is that Tree Fork demos him and Jelly then beats us to the ball and it goes out here to the side, right? If anything gets past this line, it's basically a goal. That's how you kind of have to see it. Form is literally the last line of defense. So anything that gets past him is going to be in. And this is why following so close or like going up like so parallel to your teammate in twos is almost like a death sentence. Like you're getting asked to get scored on at that point, so keep that in mind when you're really close to your teammates in twos. Now Jenny's gonna go past us here, and like see now we're like scrambling back, right? Because we have 0 defense. We don't have anyone to challenge. We get kind of lucky that Jelly doesn't do anything here, but we also react well with a jump challenge, so that's perfectly fine. This is a bit of a mistake coordination-wise, but we don't get punished, so it's fine. And we hit the ball, and we get a really nice flick here as well, which is really good. I love to see that reaction. And that's some of the read confidence that I want on defense from Form. That's why I think he has it in him. Just like the student we had last week, where I was like, they have it because they're doing it on offense, but they're not doing it on defense. It's like, be confident in your reads also on defense. Dylan gets a bit of a weird touch here, and we get a beat. Okay, so what could Dylan have done better here? Dylan could have been more patient, for one, because there is a chance that Tree Fork gets this touch, but then it's just in anyway, right? And this is what I mean with like the weird positioning. Like if you see here, Dylan's like pushed super far up. Like he's not letting Form just be the sole aggressor. He's like trying to see, oh, can I get a pass? Can I get a read off of this, right? So again, I'm just going to do this for out of principle, because this is what we did for Form, so we're doing it for Dylan as well. It's like a double coaching lesson, oh my god. This is the last line of defense. If anything gets past here, we're done. It's in, right? And I say it's in, not as like 100%, but like you drastically increase the chances that anything goes in, right? So now he hits a good clear, like a kind of powerful clear, but like a good clear past us. And now it's like, oh shit, right? We're all scrambling back and we're trying to do stuff. So as soon as Tree Fork misses here, Dylan needs to take control or somehow recover the ball. So he jumps here and he backflips, which is kind of unfortunate because Jelly does land there. It's not lucky, it's just unfortunate because he could have had other options, like he could have just let the ball go, which is weird out of his perspective, but out of Form's perspective makes sense, right? So like Form has boost here, and again, I don't know why he does this jump. This is something that he needs to work on, is when he goes back, like he needs to stop doing unnecessary movements, because even if he is trying to reach this ball, he's never going to reach it with 0 boost, right? He needs to focus on resetting. He needs to focus on, okay, get boost, go back post, or get boost and go back, right? And then be the defense. This jump is kind of his death sentence in this case. It's kind of like the needle in the coffin, because now he's going to land awkward with 0 boost, where he could have got like 3 pads, 2 pads probably. If you would have rotated pad lines here, 1, 2, 3, maybe even 1, 4, because I know there's one here. So maybe he could have even gone 1, 2, 3, something like that. Because he jumps, he now has 0 boost, and he's now like turned really awkwardly, right? So now he's sitting in net with 0 boost. Dylan's just gonna yeet himself with the ball, which I think is okay. And this is where it gets interesting, right? So if you're super awkward in net and the opponents have possession, sitting here is just going to make it harder and harder as more time ticks on and as the closer they come to the net, right? Let's go back to the example that I used a few times this video. What's the worst thing that could happen here, right? Worst thing that can happen is we take control and Form just zooms at us and just hits the ball away, right? That's the worst thing that can happen. What's the best thing that can happen? Oh, Form just sits in net and we just score on him, right? Because we do like a cool weird dribble move and then Dylan demos us and he own goals, which is super unfortunate. Super weird twist of events. But to be fair, it's not Dylan's fault here, even though he demos our opponent and he own goals it. It's not completely his fault because we could have just challenged it. Dylan does the demo because he sees that we're awkward here, right? Or because he hears it. I don't know if these guys are using comms or not. But either way, Jelly scores on us here, right? If we don't challenge. If you look at this, he's turning, and the way he's hit the ball, and in relation to where we are, let me just use fly camera here real quick. In relation to where we are, there is, oh Jesus, there is a really, really rare thing here, like a really rare percentage that we don't get scored on, because we are going this way, and Jelly's in a prime position, right? He's this way on the ball, and we can't see him because the ball's covering our a POV, right? Our point of view, right? And Jelly can just put it here and just slot it perfectly, because he's done a wave dash to this side so that he can then hit it to the left where our blind spot is, because we're covering like this bit of the net. Well, we're not even covering the top thing because we don't have boost, but theoretically if we had boost, we'd be covering like this bit of the net, so this whole area, and this is our blind spot, right? And that's exactly where he can put it. So even if Dylan doesn't demo him and doesn't own goal, we still lose, because Jelly can just easily put it in here, and even if we backflip, then he can just put it straight, and then it's just done, right? So it's kind of a lose-lose situation here. Best thing you could have done here is it's a kind of YOLO play, but at this point you kind of have to, because as I said, if you stay in net, you're just going to get scored on, especially with 0 boost. So a few ways to mitigate this is to grab boost, so we're grabbing like 3 pads here, and then turning earlier as well, right? So we want to be turning earlier. We don't want anybody going all the way back and then turning because we have 0 boost. What we could have also done is grab 2 boosts and then just turned in here and then just try to challenge them. And if you flicks it, then you flicks it, then that's just it. So yeah. And if this happens and we see we get beat, we wait for a good opportunity. So good opportunities for challenging dribbles is usually when opponents try to get it on their hood, or when they're just hitting it to a direction change, right? So you never want to challenge when the opponent's done something already. You want to do it when they... No, sorry. I'm going to phrase that differently. You never want to challenge them when they've done something. You want to challenge them whilst they're doing it, right? So if Jelly's hitting the ball this way to get a direction change to this direction, you want to be hitting it, you want to be going as he's doing the direction change. If someone's setting up to do a flip, you want to be challenging them as they're getting it on their hood, right? When they've done the direction change, like if he's hit the ball over here already and he's turning onto this side of the ball, you don't want to be challenging because then he can fake it, he can then hit it, like he can even pop it, like he can do everything from there. You want to be doing it as he's doing something. So that is the only other way that we can go here. So like here, he's doing his wave dash, and then this is where you would challenge, right? If you would be facing straight onwards. He could then flick it as a reaction, but that's just what we got to do because this is just the situation we're in. Other than that, I can recommend like a half jump challenge, which is what I do all the time. That's why I just get beat by cuts. But it's easier to react to flicks that way because people can usually not cut it that hard that quick. So yeah. So to sum up, I would say Form is a pretty good mid player. He just needs to make sure that in twos he's playing as the third man and not the second man. He has the reads on offense, he needs to use it on defense, and I think this is going to be a reoccurring trend during this series, because I just think a lot of people are more used to using their mechanics on offense than on defense. I think that comes with time, and yeah, he just needs to be a bit more safer. So we want to be thinking as ourselves of the last line of defense more often. We want to be not really relying on our teammate too much. We want to be there to support them and cover them, but we don't want to be their second man play, right? And I think this is also really interesting if you're playing with pre-mades. I think this is like really ingrained, especially if you're coming, you're like, oh yeah, we can do like passing plays and do stuff like that. And that's perfectly fine to do, but you want to be doing them as you're pushing up and not push up already and then do them, right? So yeah, I hope this helped. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you want to submit for this, I'll leave a link to my Discord down below. You can hit me up on there, and I'll see you guys later, and peace.